Good morning. Today, I want to speak to a part of you that might not even be listening yet. A part of you that's quietly waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for clarity, waiting for something to tell you it's time. And here's the truth you might not want to hear. You'll see this when you're ready to change. That sentence might sound simple, almost like a fortune cookie. But don't let it fool you. It holds a mirror. A hard one, because until you're ready, truly ready, nothing will change. Let's talk about readiness. We live in a world addicted to answers. We scroll for motivation. We binge podcasts. We highlight self-help books like sacred texts. But insight without readiness is noise. You might hear all the right words. You might even say all the right words. But until something shifts inside, until you stop looking for the next hack or the next burst of dopamine, you won't see the thing that's been right in front of you the entire time. Change doesn't begin when you set a goal. It begins when you make a decision. I will not keep living like this. That's not a slogan. That's a quiet revolution, and it happens in moments that often look like breakdowns. Pain has a purpose. Most people don't change because of vision. They change because of pain. Rock bottom is uncomfortable, yes. But it's also clarifying, because when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of changing, that's when movement begins. It's not when you write down your goals on January 1st. It's not when your friend sends you a motivational quote. It's when you wake up at 2 a.m. and realize you're tired of pretending, you're tired of numbing, you're tired of showing up as half of who you know you could be. And in that quiet, breaking moment, something remarkable happens. You become ready. That's when the lessons, the wisdom, the patterns, the signs, everything suddenly starts making sense, because you finally have eyes to see them. The biology of change, let me be clear. Readiness isn't about willpower. It's not about pushing harder or grinding more. That's a recipe for burnout, not transformation. True change begins not in the body, but in the belief system. Your nervous system clings to the familiar, even when the familiar is destructive. Why? Because familiar equals safe, even if it's toxic. That's why people stay in jobs that drain them, in relationships that shrink them, in habits that numb them. You're not broken. You're wired for safety. But guess what? Safety is not the same as purpose. And when you're finally ready to risk safety for the sake of growth, when you stop needing certainty before you leap, that's when you'll start to evolve. Not just survive, not just cope. Evolve. The illusion of readiness. Now here's the twist. Sometimes being ready doesn't feel like confidence. It feels like discomfort, doubt, resistance. You'll never feel fully ready to have the hard conversation, or leave what's familiar, or start over, or admit you were wrong. Readiness often shows up wearing fear's clothing, but there's a voice underneath the fear, not loud, but steady. It says, there's more than this, and it's time. That voice is wisdom. It doesn't scream, it waits. Why this moment matters. The world doesn't need more people chasing titles, likes, or applause. It needs more people willing to transform, willing to become honest, willing to feel, willing to lead, not from perfection, but from courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move even when fear comes with you. If you're listening to this and something inside you is stirring, don't ignore it. That stirring, that ache, that's your truth knocking, and the moment you say yes to it, even quietly, you've already begun to change. So what now? Change is not a lightning bolt, it's a slow burn. It's waking up and choosing to live in alignment with who you want to become. That's it. One aligned action, one honest conversation, one decision to stop pretending, and then another, and another, and over time, those small decisions create a new identity, a new reality, a new story. You'll see this when you're ready. So if you've made it this far, just maybe, you are ready, not for everything, not for the whole mountain, but for the first step, and that's enough. Because readiness doesn't mean certainty. It means willingness, willingness to grow, willingness to shed old skins, willingness to see what's always been there, but what fear made blurry. You'll see this when you're ready to change, and if you are ready, welcome. The real work begins now. We live in a world overflowing with information. At the tap of a screen, You can access thousands of motivational videos, life hacks, self-help books, and expert advice, and yet, real, lasting change still feels elusive for most people. Why? Because information isn't what transforms us. Readiness does. You can know exactly what to do. You can memorize every productivity system, quote every wellness guru, even plan your entire future on a whiteboard. But until you're truly ready to change, emotionally, mentally, and internally, none of it will matter. You'll rationalize, you'll procrastinate, you'll tell yourself, I'm not ready yet, I'll start next week, maybe after this busy season, and nothing shifts. Readiness is not a strategy, it's a state of being. It happens when something inside you finally says, I can't keep doing this anymore. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, it's often quiet, private, and raw. But it's real. That's the moment when your brain stops looking for more information and starts looking for action. When clarity cuts through the noise. When excuses lose their power. That's when change begins, not because someone gave you new answers, but because you're finally willing to see the ones that were already there. People don't fail because they lack knowledge. They fail because they're not ready to let go of comfort, even if that comfort is killing them. So if you're wondering why change hasn't happened yet, don't ask, what am I missing? Ask instead, am I ready to change? Because when you are, even the smallest whisper of truth will become loud. And when you're not, even the loudest truth will sound like silence. Despite what we'd like to believe, most people don't change because they've seen a better way. They change because they've felt enough pain. Pain is a powerful teacher. It strips away our illusions. It disrupts our comfort. It forces us to confront what we've been avoiding. When life becomes too heavy, when pretending becomes too exhausting, when staying the same becomes more painful than the fear of changing, that's when transformation begins. We don't grow just because we're inspired. We grow because something breaks, a relationship ends, a dream falls apart, the job becomes unbearable, or we look in the mirror one day and realize, this isn't who I want to be anymore. And in that breaking, there's something sacred. Because pain isn't the enemy, it's a signal. It tells you something in your life is misaligned. It pushes you to stop settling, stop numbing, stop surviving, and start living with intention. Think about the turning points in your life. Did they happen when everything was going smoothly? Or did they come after disappointment, frustration, rock bottom? The truth is, pain often delivers what comfort cannot, clarity. It wakes you up. It calls you forward. It demands a choice. Stay stuck or rise up. But here's the key. Pain only becomes transformative when you allow it to move you. If you ignore it, numb it, or run from it, it lingers. But if you lean into it and listen, it can guide you toward the life you were meant to live. So don't despise the discomfort. Don't fear the breaking point. Sometimes the worst moments of your life are the doorway to your greatest transformation. Not because you were ready, but because pain made you ready. One of the biggest myths about change is that you'll feel confident when it's time to take the leap. That somehow clarity will wash over you like a wave, your fears will disappear, and you'll feel fully prepared to move forward. But that's not how it works. In reality, readiness rarely feels like certainty. It feels like tension, like doubt, like standing on the edge of something unfamiliar, your stomach tight, your palms sweaty, your thoughts spinning. And yet, deep inside, you know you can't stay where you are. That's the paradox of change. You can be scared and still be ready. Fear doesn't mean you're not prepared. It means you're human. Every meaningful decision, whether it's starting over, speaking up, setting a boundary, or walking away, will trigger discomfort. Why? Because change threatens the brain's obsession with safety and familiarity. Even if the old way is broken, it's known, and known feels safe. But growth never happens in the known. Real readiness isn't about feeling brave. It's about being willing. Willing to take the first step even if your knees are shaking. Willing to move forward even if the path ahead isn't perfectly lit. Willing to trust that the fear won't destroy you. It will shape you. The discomfort you feel at the edge of change isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're stepping out of the identity that kept you small. and into the version of yourself that's waiting to emerge. So if you're feeling uncertain, anxious, or unqualified right now, good. That means you're getting close. Readiness isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to go anyway, fear and all.